Hello Channel NITT viewers, I am DS, your psychologist, and welcome to another episode on Channel NITT. So it has been a very long while since we have done a MBTI loop episode. So this episode, we're going to continue with the MBTI loop. And the MBTI type that we're going to focus on is ISFP. So this is the cognitive stack of the ISFP. Under normal circumstances, the ISFP uses FI as their dominant function and SE as their auxiliary function. When they go on a loop, they set SE and they go on a FiNi loop.
That infinity appears in physics. That's what we will talk about today.
All healthy ISFP need SE, extroverted sensing. So what does SE do for the ISFP? SE does a lot of things. First, ISFPs need SE to experience the now. If they do not have SE, then they will be too focused on the past or the future. So in other words, ISFPs do not allow the doubts about the future to hold the ISFP back. Because of SE, the ISFP is willing to take risks. Now, this is also why many ISFP appear to be very rash, reckless and impulsive. Actually, the ISFP does care about the world around them if they are healthy ISFP and they do what they believe is right. So many a times, the FI in the ISFP serves as a very important moral compass for the ISFP. They are reckless, but they know their choices. So the SE is very important for the ISFP because the SE allows the ISFP to make choices and to respond to the now. Without SE, the ISFP in a FiNi loop can really behave very differently from the typical ISFP. So whenever I think of the ISFP, the first person that comes into my mind is Amos E. So many Singaporeans will be very familiar with this character.
He is undoubtedly totalitarian.
So there was once Amos E was detained for his defamatory videos that he has produced. A kind stranger actually bailed him out. Many people would have expected that Amos E would have learned his lesson and become restrained. However, he did not. Well, this may be curious. If Amos E had restrained himself, then Amos E would have been in a FiNi loop. But Amos E did not. So, in other words, he has been healthy as an ISFP. So we are not here to judge whether the things that Amos E has said about the government and Minister Lee are true or false. We are using this video to show that if you are an ISFP, how a FiNi loop may look like. An ISFP in the FiNi loop will lose sight of the present moment. They will become much more restrained because SE has been set. They are unable to act in the now. So an activist ISFP will suddenly stop what he's doing and become very afraid. So as we can imagine, a possible scenario in which an ISFP may set SE is because they have gotten into trouble. They are worried that there are consequences. So under normal circumstances, the ISFP is not afraid of consequences. They know they have made a choice and they will stick to it. When the ISFP sets SE, now the ISFP is going to use NI more often than usual. So the ISFP is now going to neglect their extroverted functions. They are going to be more in touch with their inner emotions and inner feelings. Because NI is a future-oriented function, the ISFP in a FiNi loop is now going to obsess about the future. What is going to happen as a consequence down the line? So in other words, the ISFP may start to behave a little bit like the INTJ. They want to know what the best outcome is, so they will try to imagine and figure that out. So the ISFP in a FiNi loop is going to be very concerned about how things will end up. They are now going to be concerned about implications. They want to know about long-term consequences. They worry about the future and worry about making mistakes. Another common characteristic of an ISFP in a FiNi loop is that they are going to get more emotional and anxious than usual. Another atypical thing that the ISFP in a FiNi loop may do is that they are now going to trust their gut and then come up with guesses about the future. However, since NI is the third function of the ISFP, it is not going to be very developed, so their guesses may not be usually correct. Another indicator that the ISFP is in a FiNi loop is that now they become more reclusive and they cannot connect to the outside world. Without SE, the ISFP in a FiNi loop takes much longer to act. Now the ISFP is really very worried that what they want cannot be achieved. So the ISFP now is afraid that their choices won't lead to what they want. So this will make the ISFP continue to try and analyze their feelings and their actions. So from the MBTI point of view, this is not healthy for the ISFP. Although for most of us, we would think that a restrained ISFP is more healthy. So what can an ISFP in a FiNi loop do to help themselves get out of the FiNi loop? There is only one way: get SE back. In order to do that, the ISFP have to consciously forget about the future and care about the now. So the recluse ISFP can force themselves to go out of the house and experience new things. So all they need to do is to go out and experience the physical again. So this can be in terms of food, or this can be in terms of sight. So they can go out and experience nature. So this may vary from one ISFP to another ISFP. So another ISFP can try shopping. So as the ISFP indulges in SE, over time, SE is going to come back and the ISFP will become normal again. Okay, I hope that you have found this episode useful as well. At Channel NITT, we strive to produce videos related to MBTI and psychology. If you have not subscribed, do consider subscribing so that we can bring you more MBTI and psychology. Okay, I'm going to sign off now and I'll see you in my next episode. Goodbye!